Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Can you let me know if you can hear me loud and clear? Hello, hello, hello. I can see Aluja Banks. It's good to see you. Where is everybody? We are starting right now. It's an amazing Sunday. It's good to see you all. Hello, TT. It's good to see you all as well. It's going to be an awesome day. I hope you've all had an amazing day. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everywhere you are in the world. And to people in Nigeria, how is the election going? I hope you're all performing your civic duties. Let us keep pushing. Let's keep pushing. It is going to be an amazing time. An amazing time, an amazing time. Can you imagine that actually today is the 26th of February, and I think in 2 or 3 days we are going to be crossing over into March 2023. 2023 slowly and steady. 2023 is inching away. That means 2 months down, 10 months to go. That means almost a quarter is over. So that means the year is running fast. We've got to keep up the pace. That is something spectacular about time. Time waits for no man. The best time to do anything in life is now. Because why? You will never get tomorrow. When you get to tomorrow, tomorrow is going to be called now. When you get to tomorrow, it's going to become now. So everything you do, you must do them in the importance of time. So let us just wait for 1 or 2 more minutes for more people to join us before we now begin to go. Today, we're going to be starting the series which I called You and Your Money. And this is going to be the first part of the series, which is riches or wishes. This is an interesting topic we're going to be going into. The reason is because most of the time we wish a lot, and most of the time it's about, do we wish things to come through, or how do we actually make riches come through? It's going to be interesting to see. Let's see if we can have more people. I can see people on YouTube. Let's go down the other channel to see if we have more people joining us on IG as well. So just bear with me a moment more. We're going to allow more people to come in and we're going to start. It is going to be beautiful. So let me know in the chat, where exactly in the world are you all joining from today? I can see at least 1 or 2 people. I can tell they are in the UK. So if you could just put in there the location of where you are in the UK, it would be good to know, to just kind of see in terms of how wide and how far and wide people you're connecting from. Here we go. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Let's get it started today. So, what is it exactly we're talking about today? It's looking at the series of talking about financial freedom, financial independence. There is so much to talk about in this sphere. There's so many context out there. There are so many materials you can find out there about this. But today, what we're going to do there is we're going to take it a step at a time. See, this journey is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So instead of, I know all of you are inching, you want to know, oh, how can you double your money? How can you do this with your money? But you know what? Let us slow down, let us slow down, let us slow down. Imagine if you have a basket and you're pouring water into the basket. What do you think is going to happen? The water is going to keep filtering away. So it doesn't matter how much water you pour into a basket, it's going to be empty at the end of the day. So the first thing we need to do there is let's look into what I call the first thing first. And that is what has brought about what we're talking about today. Part of series one is we're looking into riches or wishes. What does that mean? What are we going to talk about then? So the most important question I think we all ask ourselves this every day, every time. Who and what is responsible for the current state of your finances? I'm sure if we ask a wide number of people, some people would say it is the village people. Some people will say, it is the government if they're not taxing me this much. Some people would say probably it's if I've been taught better. There are so many reasons we could all give. And sometimes some of these reasons are legitimate, basically. Some of them are actually facts, basically, in terms of who and what is responsible. So today, we're starting from there. Who and what is responsible for the current states where you are right now with your finances? Who is responsible for that? Well, I think the news I've got for you there is you are ultimately responsible for that. Bill Gates once said something. Bill Gates said, if you're born poor, it is not your fault, really. But if you die poor, then you're ultimately responsible for that. I know we cannot generally say 100%, but I can tell you if you're within, the sound of my voice, if you can see me right now, if you can see me right now, if you can hear me, that means two things. Number one, you have a device that connects to the internet. Number two, you have the connectivity and the ability to connect to the internet. So you are in the percentile of the world that is connected. So I would speak to that particular category of people and say you are ultimately responsible for the state of your finances. And why is that? I've got four good points here for us to look into. Number one is the decisions and the choices you have made up until this moment. That is what's responsible, number one. Number two, how you have invested, spent, and used time. Time is a commodity that it is so finite, it's finite in its resources. Basically, it means we all have the same and it is fixed. You cannot buy more. The only thing you do there is you can sell. Now you can buy more in different ways, is whereby you do things that is actually leveraging on other people's time. That is what time buying is. But based on the time you have, it's finite. Let's say you live 200 years and then what? So that means in 200 years from now, none of us is going to be around. That is something to look into. Then number three, your level of financial literacy. That is the third factor responsible for where you are right now. And number four, this is where we all don't like. It's what I call the ouch, which is your inability to delay gratification. Between these four choices I have here, they are the things that have contributed to your present state of finance, to where you are right now. It is within this four. If you look at it very, very deeply, one, two, three, or all these 4 points are responsible for where you are right now, which means they are within your control and makes it solely your responsibility. I like this. I like to share this because the reason there is it says poor people talk about problems, rich people talk about money, and wealthy people talk about ideas. Isn't that awesome? And it's true. One of the things that is so common about poor people there is when they get together, my money is not doing this person is doing this. We complain, we whine, we whine, we whine, we whine, we whine, we whine, we whine about why things are not working, why this is not doing this, why that is not doing that, why that is not doing that. But when the rich people get together, they talk about money. Basically, they are actually now providing solution to that same things which you're complaining about, how they've been able to actually leverage on that and to get money. And the wealthy people, all they talk about is ideas. There is nothing on earth at this present point in time that was not firstly in that state of being an idea. It was someone who actually brought the idea of it. Nothing can come to pass without being in this first state of an idea. Somebody sat down and thought about, you know what? We should have a device called a telephone whereby we should be able to communicate over a long distance. Somebody decided to look at the bird and say, you know what? If birds can fly, why can't humans fly? It all starts from a human idea. What about you? What do you do? Poor people have wishes. There is this saying: if wishes, if wishes are horses, beggars would ride. Or do you have goals? Or most importantly, wealthy people have appointments. See, there's a difference between goals and appointments. See, wishes is, oh, I wish to have this, I wish to have it. Just like when they say, who wants to be a millionaire? We all raise up our hands. Those are wishes. When we're all growing up, we're all wishing that, oh, I wish to be a pilot. I can remember vividly that when I was growing up, I always wanted to be a pilot because seeing the plane fly, it's like a miracle. And saying, imagine those guys responsible for navigating that. Those are wishes. However, the people who have been able to sit down and moved from the stage of being having wishes to having a goal. A goal is something that is a target. And beyond having a goal, what I call is having an appointment. See, a goal is something you want to do. It's something you've set in place to achieve. See, an appointment is something you have to do. An appointment means something somebody is expecting you at this particular point in time. So it is not a case of will I be there or will that thing not be there. It's already prearranged and preset. That is the difference between you having a goal and having an appointment. A lot of us have goals with life, but very few people have an appointment with destiny. When you have an appointment with destiny, you know, rain or shine, you have to turn up. It's just like if you're going for an appointment, let's say you go for an interview, you know what time the interview is. Come rain or shine, you will bend through all, jump through all hoops and hole for you to get there. But if your goal is for you to get to a company at a particular point in time, you know what? If there is a genuine delay, you will accept that and say, you know what, I'll try again. That is one of the differences. So, money is not the problem. And this is one thing in which a lot of us really need to begin to understand. It took me a long time to understand this. Money is not the problem. There is enough money on earth to go around. See, all the money that has ever been, where has it gone to? Nobody has died and taken their wealth to heaven or to wherever they've gone to. No. So that means all the wealth that has been created since time immemorial is on this earth. It doesn't matter how much you have. When you came with nothing. When you were going, you will go with nothing. So whatever you have, you would surrender it to life. So that means money is plenty for those who knows where and how to get it. So don't ever say, oh, there is shortage of money. No, there's no shortage of. Maybe in the circle of where you are, there might be scarcity because you have created that scarcity by yourself. But I'm telling you, some part of the world right now, they are saying there's scarcity, there's inflation, there's this, and you can see some part of the world. Just one person wanted to is proposing to buy Man United. That's going to be around what, £5 to £6 billion thereabouts. And it says it's going to pay off all the debt and it does not want any return from that. So that is somebody willing to throw 5 to 6 billion on, on something, on something. So please, it is not about the money. Money is not the problem. Lack of money is only a symptom. What lack of money tells you there is a problem. It's telling you there's some fundamental problems when it comes to your area of finances. That is all lack of money tells you. Lack of money does not tell you money is the actual problem. It's telling you, boy, there is a problem somewhere. And most importantly, if there is anything you take away from today, the root cause and problem is ignorance. How many times have you had a problem with a laptop where you don't know what to do and where somebody just comes and in a twinkle of an eye with a few things to do, they just been able to do that? My best friend is an Excel whiz, like he knows Excel like the back of his hands. Some things I might have struggled for days on Excel to do. If I call him or if he comes around, under 5 to 7 minutes or less than that, he's able to make the magic happen. So the problem was never Excel or never that. The problem was my ignorance. So what that tells you, there is in any area of life where you're struggling, and this goes way beyond your finances. In every area of life where you struggle, be it your finance, your health, your marriage, whatever it is, in that same area you've been untaught. And that means you're ignorant in that area. Please don't take this for granted. Any area you're struggling, if there is any area whatsoever, that is the area where the problem we have is ignorance. So anywhere you're struggling, the first thing you need to hold on that, what is it that I should know that I don't know? That is the problem. If you're struggling and you're thinking, what is happening to my money? The first problem is not money is not evil. See, like I always say, money is nebulous. It takes the shape of whoever holds it. And this is something about life. Life on this earth, as we know it, you you cannot gain mastery in any domain. And I'm calling finance a domain because finance is critical. Without you having the discovery, understanding, and application of the principles that govern that space. See, finances, there are principles and protocols that govern finances. That is why you see somebody who makes about 600 million in a span of 10 years and they're down to zero. And you see somebody who has just consistently earned less than a fraction of that and they've got more. So if there's any area of your life where you're struggling, where you need to gain mastery, you need to know the three key things is there has to be a discovery, understanding, and application of the principles. See, finance is so important. We're not going to go into that area today, but one thing there is nothing you want to do right now that is outside of money. And when I'm talking about finance today, we zoning it down to money. For me to be here, for you to be able to hear me and see me, money is involved. You use money to purchase the data. You use money to purchase the device you're holding. I've used money to purchase my data. I've used money to purchase the device which I'm broadcasting on right now. You've used money to what? To buy my glasses. So money is so essential to everything we need. But is it not funny that all through our lives, it is one thing whereby it is not even being taught. See, you when you start your life, you go to primary school, you spend 6 years. Nobody teaches you about money there. After that, you go to secondary, you spend 6 years. That is 12. Nobody teaches you about money there. You now go to university, you spend 4 years. So 16 years of your life, no one is taught you about money, only for you to come out and then get a job and then someone pays you money and you wonder to yourself, what on earth am I going to do with this? You've gone through 16 years of study just for you to be able to get something you're unable to manage. So let's talk about those principles. The first principle in which we'll be looking at today is what I call the principle of belief. Why is belief so important to finance? We'll get to that. The other one there is I call it the principle of time. And then I call the principle of value, that is making money. Then we have the principle of management, that is managing your money. And the principle of multiplication, and that is investing your money. When it comes to the area of your finances, these principles are critical. Why are we starting with belief? One of my mentors, Dave Ramsey, says personal finance is what is 80% head knowledge. It's 80% behavioral and 20% head knowledge. Basically, means we all know what we need to do. But the problem is, why are we not doing it? You know, it's so simple, but yet it's so complicating. If you ask anybody now that what do you need to do, they will probably tell you they need to earn more. Basically, what they're saying there is they want to make more money, and they know that okay, they need to save a bit more so that they've got more left. And from what they save, they need to now invest that. We all know that. How come we continually don't do it? The reason is because the problem starts somewhere. So let's look at the first one, which I call the principle of belief. So, see, it's belief is so important. To me, I call it the most important determinant factor for financial success. The belief is so strong, it's so powerful that everything you do filters from your belief system. consciously, unconsciously, the way you talk, the way you act, everything is governed by your principle of belief. What's your belief system? And what are we talking about belief here? It is something that we've accepted as true or real, or we've held it in firm opinion. And it's something in terms of the trust we have confidence in it. And everything you do, everything every one of us does, filters from what I call our belief system. You can never outperform the level of your belief system. Never. That is why the first place to look there is what is in my belief system? When it comes to area of finances and money, what do I believe? Because it doesn't matter what you say, it is most importantly what you believe. What you believe is that thing that niggles to you in the middle of the night when the curtains is closed, when there is no ovation, when there's nobody watching, when it's just you there. That is the voice that speaks to you. That is where you draw your strength. That is the factory for your decision making process. And when it comes to your belief systems, there are things I call the three E's of your belief that create your belief system. Number one is your environment, the culture in which you were born into. The people around you has everything to do with the choices and decisions you make. That is why you can have a twin. You give birth to a twin today. You leave one in Nigeria, you take one to Japan, and in 20 years from now, as much as they look alike, they are two different individuals. Why? Because you are shaped by your environment. And your environment is what gives you your culture. Your culture is what is accepted, it is the norm. And that is what gives you, in terms of the every child is born a blank canvas. Every single one of us, we came with a black canvas. But life begins to paint on that canvas based on the culture of the environment and the people around us. What is it that you keep hearing every time? What is it you're exposed to? Do you keep hearing, oh, money don't go on trees? Do you keep hearing, oh, we can't afford this, we can't do this, we can't. And all of a sudden, you've everything about life is can't. Oh, this is not possible. That is not possible. This is not this. This is not that. While some people, Henry Ford says, some people says they can, and some others says they can't. He says, you know what, both of them are right. Your environment is so critical because your environment is what writes your life programming skills. The operating system you're running on right now was written by your environment, the people around you, the people you grew up around. That is why the accent you're speaking right now, you can actually bring a child and drop the child in France, and the child grows up in France, and a child that was born in a village somewhere is speaking French. Is because that's the environment. That is where, when the brain was developing, those are the things that the brain was absorbing. And the second one is education. See, your education and your schooling influences your belief. And there's a difference between education and schooling. Things you hear, something about schooling there is, as children have so much faith in their parents and in their teachers, to the point whereby if you tell them something contrary to what the teachers taught them, your children will correct you. My children do that. Your environment is the first E. The second E is your education. Your education and schooling influences your belief system. Please, education and schooling matters, formally and informally, because we are a learning machine. That is what human beings are. We are a learning machine. We learn, we absorb every time. And the third one there is experiences, life experiences from birth. They've created the building blocks. That is why you can tell when you see a child, you can tell a child that was given the freedom to express themselves and a child that was constantly restrained from expressing themselves. You would always see that in their approach to life. Because why? The life experiences they've created a mold of those brick that is part of your belief system. So whatever you are now is a product of your belief system. And this is a product of your environment, your education, and your experiences. We live life through our experience mirror. Everything about life, the first thing we look for there is what is the reference point? That is one thing we are constantly looking for, a reference point. If we want to try something, we feel more comfortable in trying something we've tried before. That is why many of us, we don't like to break new grounds. Why? Because it's not familiar to us. We like to default to that familiarity. That is why you see a group of people when they move into a new environment, they immediately begin to form a cluster because that is the cultural experience they have and that is the people they feel comfortable around. And trust me, this filters and affects every area of your life, especially your finances. Have you noticed that very rarely do you see a group of people who are very close to be from different vocation? Have you noticed that? And it's been proven scientifically that you are an average of the 3 to 5 closest people to you over a period of 5 to 10 years. You are an average in terms of your mentality, in terms of your wealth, even up to the point in terms of your size and weight over a period of 5 to 10 years. That tells you the power of your environment, the power of your experiences and your education. And there's something about that. Our life, it's a mass of habit. It's what we've been doing. And most of the time, we don't decide the future we want. All we do there is we set the triggers for the habits we have. And the habits we have will automatically create the future. That is why you'd see a lot of people would say, you know what, if you can do this routine constantly, it will influence where you're trying to get to because they know if they can get some things right back in shape, the end result is guaranteed. And you see how we've gone from what our belief system and that's how that spills into our habits. Because your habit is a product from your belief system, the things you do. And once you do something twice, it becomes easier and it becomes what? It becomes habitual. Our results are created by our habits. Our habits are created by our actions. Our actions are initiated by our decisions. Our decisions are driven by our thoughts. And our thoughts are a product of our belief. Your beliefs give birth to your thoughts. Your thoughts influences and drive your decisions. Your decisions initiate your actions. Your actions create your habits, and your habits create your results. You want to change the outcome of what you're getting right now. Take a few steps all the way back to where it all starts from, and that is from what? From your belief. Now, here are some of the common belief system we have when it comes to the area of money now. Many people believe God has predestined some particular set of people to be financially successful. Some people believe that no, there are some people on earth, God favored them more than any other people, that they are predestined to be successful. That is their belief system. Some people believe that it's either they were born or they marry into wealth. They cannot be wealthy. Some people believe that, you know what, I must earn a huge sum of money to be wealthy. That, this wealth thing, for me to do that, I must earn a lot of money. Some people believe I must have connection in government to be financially successful. This is very, very important to some parts of the world which they believe. It's not even only to the part of the world. We've seen what happened during COVID, whereby it's only the people who are connected to some people that are able to get something. So there is a belief system out there which believes that I must have a connection to the government to be financially successful. So if there's an opening or there's an opportunity, somebody who knows nobody would think that why should I do that? Why? Because the programming in their head says, you know what, I don't know anybody in the government, so why should I even attempt at that? Because it's only people who have got those connections that can be successful in that area. While some of the belief system in terms of and the money mindset is money is meant to be spent. We only live once, is YOLO. What is money for now? Maybe it's for me to live my life. I can't come and kill myself. That is some of the beliefs and mindsets we have. Some people believe money is evil. They believe when you have money like this, money will change you. This one is a very, 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 very popular one, whereby we believe money is evil. And when we see somebody say, you see now, he's got a few change now, he's changed. Money has changed him. Money changes nobody. What money does there is, don't let me jump the gun. So that is a belief system which says money is evil. And there is another one that is very, very pertinent, which says formal schooling is the only way out of poverty. They taught us that one I know very, very well. Whereby your parents say you must go to a good school. When you go to school, go to secondary, you go to primary, secondary, university, and don't worry about the rest. The rest is history. Well, I know many of us on here, it's not what we actually studied in the university, we use it right now, but that is for a different story. There is that mindset of it is only formal schooling is the only way out of poverty. And the last one I've got here is it is who you know, not what you know, that matters most. So everybody is seeking for connection. I don't know anybody here. I don't know anybody here. But my question to you today there is whatever your money beliefs are, the most important thing is not to worry about what those beliefs are because we've all got one or two or three or four. We all have them. They are programming. The question there is, are they based on truth or facts? This is a decision point where you have to really ask yourself, what I know and I believe about money, is it a truth or a fact? This is very crucial. So challenge yourself and think, this thing I think about money, is it true or is it a fact? I will talk about the difference in both. Now, I've got a few things I call some financial truths here. Remember, I'm calling this some financial truth. Money is a tool in the hand of whoever. It's a currency. It flows in the direction of value. Whenever value is created, money eventually follows. It is not what you earn, it is what you keep. These are some fundamental financial truth. Take it anywhere, any day. And that is the difference between a truth and a fact. We'll come to that in a short while. Financial literacy eventually creates financial independence. Point five I have here says finance is more behavioral than head knowledge. Your money is not mostly spent with the head. Most of the time, your money is spent with your heart. Because before you take out your wallet to buy something, you've decided you've already bought it. It's just the action of eventually that kicks in. Consistent application of financial principle eventually produces results. Financial freedom is acquisition, understanding, and implementation of financial knowledge. And the last one is saving culture is a prerequisite to requirements for financial independence. Those are some of the truths. Now, let's come and see. We've talked about the beliefs. I've told you some of the truths now. The difference between a fact and a truth there is facts are rules. they are subject to human interpretation and they change. If I look at my watch here right now, I will tell you right now is the 26th of February, Sunday, 2023, and the time is 6:35 p.m. It's a fact. But somebody else somewhere in another part of the world will tell you right now the time is 26th of February 2015, and they will tell you the time is 35:35. We are both correct. What happens? We are both making a statement of fact because at that point in time, from the perspective where I'm interpreting this, that is what it is. What it means there is in a minute from now, it will change. And that is what facts are. Facts are subject to interpretation and change. However, truths are principle that they do not change. There are some fundamentals. Gravity is what? It's a principle. It's a truth. It doesn't matter. On this earth, gravity applies. Whatever goes up does what comes back down. Even an aeroplane on this earth, when it goes up, all is happening there is it is applying another principle called the principle of aerodynamics to fly for a period of time. And if there is no principle of fueling the engine of the car, or principle of power, powering the engine of the plane will have to drop at some point. So it is you being able to ask yourself and say, you know what? What I believe about money, is it a fact or is it truth? Test those belief systems. Test them and said, okay, I'm going down the list of everything I believe about money. If there is any point in time somebody has done something contrary to that you held, that means it is not a fact. That means it is not a truth. It's a fact. The key to the freedom is knowledge. That's the first place to start. But the key to knowledge is truth. Because any knowledge based on fact will keep on producing temporary results that will change. There can be no lasting freedom without the discovery of truth. Never. The reason is because whatever is based on the fact is only temporary. How many times have we heard scientists come back and said, oh, something they told us many years ago, they've come back now and is no longer the same? I always give this example. When I was in school, I was doing geography. Pluto was a planet. But about 2 years ago, there, but I was speaking to my daughters and we're talking about planets and they said name planets and I said, oh, I know all the planets and I live planets and I said Pluto and both of them, they look at me and like, huh, what are you talking about? Pluto is no longer a planet. But at a point in time, while I was being taught, Pluto was a planet. So that means that statement was a fact. It was not the truth. And it goes back to in any area of life you want to excel, it is crucial for you to understand the not the principles that govern that area. This is something that which it to me it's like my mantra. I'd say it's the know be do. Knowing is acquisition of knowledge. Understanding is comprehension. Doing is wisdom, which is application. See, the problem you're having most of the time is probably not you knowing. It might be the understanding, the comprehension of it. And sometimes it might actually not be knowing, might not be comprehension. It might actually be the wrong application. I remembered back then when myself and one of my brothers we got into crypto and we were so excited. We got in there and then we did not know what is called the bull market or the bear market. We didn't know when the market was up. You don't so once we got in there, we were excited. We saw these coins, we were riding off, and we too were riding with the sunset. We're throwing all the sinks and the kettles and everything, we're throwing it in. Then all of a sudden, as everything that goes up does what comes down, and the market dropped. So what we did was where we went to now start gathering the knowledge. So later on along the line as well, when we got the knowledge up to some point in time, we knew something was missing. So we were actually doing based on what we knew, but not on what we understand. So it got to a point whereby we now knew the problem is actually not doing. The problem is not knowing. The problem is actually we were applying what we did not understand. So we couldn't tell about what the dynamics are. And that is why it is important in those steps. You acquire the knowledge, the comprehension, so that they can be proper application. And one thing about knowledge there is information skills, whatever you want to call it. The problem, the knowledge and the thinking that got you here, that got you into the state you are right now, will and can never get you out of it. Take that any day to the bank. The same level that create the problem is not the same level of mind that will create the solution. The mind that creates the solution has to be of a greater standard to the mind that created the problem. That is where learning and growth takes place. And there are so many ways you can actually gain the knowledge. Books, courses, webinars, workshop, mentorship, just like what you're doing right now, you're getting the knowledge there. Now, comprehension. Now, this is where you now, it's a phase. It's a phase whereby after you continue to consume and understand, okay, this is what they say about money. This is how they say about my money. This is what it is about my what. Now it is you now having the comprehension, the understanding. It is the state of being. It is the state of knowing why. We all know the market goes up and comes down. Why? The knowledge is there. We know the market's what is volatile. The question that is knowledge. Now, understanding is why is the market volatile? This is where you now begin to understand the why, the fundamentals. Okay, the problem there is I'm losing so much money. I know. And the problem is because I spend more than I earn. I know. The question is why? And one of the examples I've got here there is we're talking about budgeting as a financial tool. Everybody knows that. But the question there is what is the understanding behind that? Do you really have an understanding of what that is as a tool? Budgeting being a tool is a knowledge. You understanding what budgeting does and the why of knowledge is the understanding. So when you get to the understanding of knowing, this is what it really is, application becomes easier. So for you to apply what you understand, it's a lot easier for you to than for you to apply what you know, because it is the why that gives you the in-depth of why you're doing something. And whenever the purpose, the why of a thing is not known, abuse is always inevitable. That is why if you don't know the purpose of your money to start with, there is no way you will not abuse that money. It's the way it works. When why is not understood, then abuse is inevitable. When you don't understand the why of something, then application is not accurate. You abuse the application. And basically, the doing is what is the application. Life, as we know it, is not changed by knowledge. Knowledge is not power. I know there's so many things that would say it's the power to know. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is the beginning of power. It is the application of that knowledge that is power. This is where the key is. It is the doing. And what separates greatness from mediocres is because some do, some know. Some do from knowing and being, while some just continue to know and know and know and refuse to be so that they can do. Application is the ultimate goal. There is no use for knowledge that is not applied. It's a waste of space. So the ultimate goal, it's not only You know it because we all know okay, we know we have to do this. We understand why we're doing it. And then most of us, we get stuck in the phase of understanding, analysis paralysis. We just want to make sure we know, no, 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 understand, understand, and we refuse to apply. And application is often the most difficult thing to do, especially when it's not from the space of being, and that is comprehension. So I threw this in. It's from one of our, I call him a mentor because I read his book. Is Malcolm Gladwell. He calls something. He says the 1,000 hour rule. It is called the rule of mastery. It says the 1,000 rule says that if you look at any kind of cognitively complex field, from playing chess to neurosurgeon, we would see the incredibly consistent pattern that you cannot be good at that unless you've practiced for 10,000 hours and more, which is roughly 10 years. If you think about that, that is about 4 hours a day. It's called the 10,000 hours, mastery rule. Let's break that down and make that simple. I tell people, you can never see anybody who is at the apex of their life in whatever sphere of life without you being able to trace a minimum of 10 years of consistent improvement in their life. Very rare. Anyone who has consistently sustained a level of mastery in any area of life, when it comes to wealth, when it comes to career, any area of life. We're talking about the other day, and we're talking about some songs that are like 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old. And we listen to the list of the songs, and we realize that right now, only probably one or two of those artists are still relevant. We used to call them the one hit wonder. One hit wonder, it's success by chance. Success is built over a period of time. And that period of time is what continuous knowledge, understanding, application, improvements. That is what it does. What you've done, it didn't work, you get back to it, acquire more knowledge, you tweak it, you revamp it, you do it again, and you continue doing that. So in your area of finance, how many of us out there can say, you know what, I have a 5 to 10 year record of how I have spent and managed my finances over the last 5 to 10 years? You can never improve what you don't track. You can never track what you don't monitor and document. So when it comes to the area of your finances, it's completely in your hands. However, let's get to the roots. Let's fix the problem. The problem starts with here, the belief system, the mindset. What is money to you? So, what are the action steps? The action steps, number one, I call it realization of the status quo. This is where you sit down, you take stock. Wait, come on, let me be real to myself. See, this is where you look into the mirror and you talk to the guy in the mirror, you talk to the lady in the mirror, and you said, okay, where am I? This requires you to be very, very honest and unbiased. How bad is it? What do I know? What got me here? See, this is not where you put cracks, you put paper over cracks. Why? Because if you do that, you will fall into the same problem over and over again. Find the root of the problem, face it, know what the status quo is, find out, okay, which area of my life am I struggling in my finances? Because I can tell you, it's got nothing to do with how much money coming into your hands. If you take stock of how much you've made over the last 10, 15 years, you will be amazed about what has gone through your hands. So the first step is what? Realization of the status quo. Take an account. Sit down. Write it. Do a 10 years audit of your life, especially in the areas of your finances. Those jeans, those dress you bought 7 years ago, 5 years ago, that probably they become manure and they've used them to grow trees. Take stock of your life in terms of your area of your finances. See, God will give everyone an opportunity, but it is only according to your capacity. And most of the time, we are struggling at the state we are because we've not been able to be good managers of what we've been given to. So we've not been able to build capacity. Take stock of where you are, what got you here, what programming and software. Face the fact. See, most of us, the home we grew up, one of them is a spender, one of them is a saver. God help you if both parents are spenders. God help you. And some homes, both of them are savers. You would see that the traits you're portraying right now is from the environment where you grew up. Face the reality. My father can blow money. You know that is what the case is. You will see the traits in you. Oh, my mom is the order. That woman can order. You will see the traits right there in you. Then how you've been able to morph those traits and you make them yours. Because if you don't know what battle you're fighting, winning is impossible. What is the battle you're facing with your finances? Is it just because you don't know? Is it because you don't understand? Or is it because you're applying it wrongly? I always tell my people who are close to me, I say there are three people you need in your life. You need an accountant, you need a doctor, you need a lawyer. See, those three people, they will save you loads of stress. Okay, and what is the second thing? The second step is desire and definiteness of purpose. What is financial freedom to you? What does it mean? Write it down. Be very specific, be very clear. Clarity is so important in details. That is why you would see we talk about problems every day, but we have no clue what we want. If I ask anybody here that now, how much do you need to retire successfully and happy? We'll just be picking some fictitious number from the wind as if it's just because we've not done that work. How much is 1 hour of your time worth? Do you know at all? If someone asked you today and said, okay, how much is an hour of your life worth? Do you know what that means? And what is that worth based on? What dreams have you got to fulfill? Desire and definiteness of purpose. You have to have the desire and you have to be specific. That is the next thing. I need 10 million pounds in the next 7, 10 years, or 5 years, or 2 years, because, and you now break it down. When you now break it down to sizable chunks, then you can now relate. My favorite book says, write the vision, make it plain, so that he that see it can run. We are never specific. That's one of the biggest problem. God bless me. How? Anyhow. What do you want? Anything that goes. Some of us, we are so confused in lack of clarity in terms of definition of purpose that we take anything. Any job that just comes, we take it. This is the next step. You have to, that desire and definiteness of purpose is very key. And the third step is what? Take action, take action, take action. Don't just sit down there. You've got to move. See, let me tell you one thing about action. I always use this analogy. Say, life is constantly spinning. I hope we all know that. For you to remain at the same position you are, you have to move at the same speed as life. Else, life will leave you behind. That is why life has left so many people behind. Why? They refuse to even move at the same speed of life for them to actually remain at the same position. So if you're not moving, you're not staying where you are regressing. That is the way life is designed. For you to keep where you are, you have to keep moving with life. Now, for you to get ahead of life, you have to move twice as fast. So if you don't have an appointment with destiny, please clear up the way and let people who do. But I'm sure all of us do. Take action. Take action. Take action. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been an amazing time tonight. We're going to bring it to an end. I want to make sure we keep it within the hour. So there you are. You can reach me at Twitter, myolosoji. There, you can reach me at Instagram, and you can also reach us at their power to know. If you need anything at all, just drop us a message on one of those things. The good thing there is I'm going to be back at the same time next month for us to get onto part two of series one. That one is going to be, I'm not even going to say anything about that, but I can guarantee you that it's going to be an amazing session. Let me quickly go into the chat. Let me see if we've got any chats. If you have any questions, let me go in there to see if there's been any chat there. Here we go. What do we have in the chat section? Has there been any chat? Oh, I could see. Oh, Apostle Manny from Leeds. It's good to Kike Makodi. Oh, it's good to see you. Fafuri Adejumo. Good evening, everyone. Letting true. That's true. Wow. Thank you very, very much, everyone. It's good. Do we have any questions at all? Okay. While we still I see you everyone next week. It's good to be here. It's Coach Mo saying thank you very much and God bless. Remember, power to know, knowledge simplified.